My name is Dr. Melissa Jane Kronfeld, and I'm not on the Temple Mount today. Instead, I'm here at the Temple Institute in Jerusalem's Old City to learn a bit more about the holy vessels and the operation of the Holy Temple day to day. Come and join me. Let's discover some more. We're going to join Yitzchak Reuven of the Temple Institute to explore the temple vessels. Come on, come join me. Wow, look at these beautiful instruments. I wonder what they were used for in the temple and who played them. I bet Yitzchak has a really good answer for that.
We're looking at some of the instruments that the Levites would play at the temple. We have here are harps. Each harp actually has 22 strings, which is the same number as the Hebrew alphabet. We also have lyres, which were 10-string lyres. The large lyre represents King David's lyres. And we also have here silver trumpets. And silver trumpets are actually a part of the sacred vessels of the temple because they were specifically commanded in the Torah for the Kohanim to use in order to signal in the wilderness when it was time for the camp to move on, when it was time for people to assemble. And they're made from a single piece of silver because those are the instructions of the Torah itself. Behind me is a shofar, a ram's horn, which was also used for many different things in the past and also in the present. But in the temple itself, it was especially used on Rosh Hashanah. The Kohanim, the priests, would stand at the entrance to the temple sanctuary and below on trumpets, on silver trumpets and on the shofar. And next to the shofar is a flute. And the flute was also one of the instruments played by the Levites on 12 different occasions throughout the year. The Levites had different types of cymbals. They had small cymbals which were fit on their finger. Also, the band leader, the head of the Levitical orchestra, had these large cymbals, and he would use those cymbals to signal to the Levites to begin singing.
Look at these incredible outfits. I wonder who wore them. What all the intricate details mean. I bet Yitzchak's got a really good answer for that.
Behind me is a Kohen Hediot, meaning a regular Kohen. Anybody who's not a Kohen Gadol, high priest, is a regular priest. And they wore all white garments, except for the avnet, which was the belt. And the belt was made of many, many colors. And it was actually very, very long, about 16 meters long. And it would be wrapped around his torso right up to his heart. It would take a second Kohen actually to help him. You'd have to use the buddy system in order to get the avnet wrapped around you each morning. Kohen wore his outfit for one day of service, and after that it was discarded. Once it was discarded, it would be used for wicks, for massive oil lamps that they had on the temple courtyards in order to light up at night. We're looking at the Kohen Gadol, the high priest. And of course, the high priest had very special garments. He wore a tunic known as the Me'il Techelet, which was all of blue dyed fabric. And the blue dye was special dye that's still used today for tzitzit. It's called Techelet. The Jews used it for the garments of the Kohen Gadol because he was royalty. And for every Jew had a couple of threads on their garments because they also shared in that royalty. At the bottom of the Me'il Techelet of the Kohen Gadol were 72 golden bells and woven pomegranates. Those bells would make a sound when he entered into the Holy of Holies. See the ephod, which is the vest that you see that has many, many colors. On top of the ephod is the choshen. And the choshen is the breastplate that has the 12 stones, each one representing one of the tribes of Israel, and it has the name of the tribe engraved on each of the stones. The head of the Kohen Gadol is the tzitz, the golden crown that says Kodesh LaHashem, holy to Hashem, and he wore that, all these garments, all the time. The copper laver, known as yor in Hebrew, stood between the entrance to the temple and the altar. And it was the first stop for the Kohanim, for the priests each morning, because they had to sanctify their hands and feet at the laver.
Wow, a golden altar. I wonder what this was used for.
Golden Incense Altar. It stood in the middle of the Heichal, of the sanctuary of the temple, in front of the Holy of Holies. The burning of the incense was part of the daily service in the temple, and it was considered to be the most beloved of all the offerings, most beloved of Hashem.
Wow, this is the most interesting table I think I've ever seen. I wonder what it was used for. I bet Yitzchak can tell us.
The Golden Showbread Table stood on the northern side of the temple itself, of the sanctuary, and it has 12 shelves on it to receive 12 loaves of showbread, which were baked each week by the Kohanim and brought in and replaced every Shabbat. And the 12 loaves that they took off each week, they then ate in another area of the temple courtyard. And the miracle is that even though the bread was 1 week old, it was still warm and fresh like it had just been baked.
Talk about lighting up the temple. Check out this menorah.
The Golden Menorah stood on the south side of the temple sanctuary, and it was kindled every morning by a Kohen. We have also here 3 cruises, they're actually called, 3 ceramic vessels filled with pure olive oil, which is ready for use for the kindling of the menorah in the new Holy Temple.
And now the most exciting part of the temple, the Ark of the Covenant.
The Ark of the Covenant rested in the Holy of Holies, the Kodesh HaKodeshim, which was the holiest inner sanctum of the temple itself, and it rested upon the foundation stone. The Ark, as we know, stood in the first temple, but it disappeared before the building of the second temple. This is the one vessel that the Temple Institute has not attempted to reconstruct because we believe that the actual Ark is buried, safely hidden away under the Temple Mount itself, so that it would be safe for the future. As you can see, on top of the Ark are the 2 in Hebrew Reuven, known in English as cherubim. Legend has it that when Israel was at peace with ourselves, they faced one another, and when Israel was not behaving, they actually turned and faced opposite directions.